Good morning, dear students. This is your English teacher. So I welcome you once again for English class. So today I am going to teach you three more topics. The first one is modal verbs. So second one is prepositions, and third one degrees of comparison, interchanging. Already we have been seeing that the previous unit adjectives. So in degrees of comparison, how the adjectives are changing. And today we are going to see how we change the sentences. Okay, how we compare the sentences with the degrees of comparison. Yeah, first let's move on to the modal verbs or modal auxiliaries. Yeah, modal verbs. So what are the modal verbs we have? So usually the modal verbs, it will help to express certain situations. So what are they? So here, so modal verbs helps to express some situations, ability. So I can speak French fluently, so that is my ability. Possibility, it may rain today evening, that is possibility. It may rain come today evening, that is possible situation. Permission, may I come in, sir? Can I use your pen? So that kind of situation, permissions. So obligation means you have to do this. You have to attend the class every day. That is some type of authoritatively saying. You have to do this. You have to attend the class every day. You must study. You must study. Okay. So saying something in an authoritative way, strong way. That is an obligation. And request, once again request. So asking permission like, may I come in, could you do a favor for me, like this, request. So modal verbs. So what are the modal verbs we have? So shall. So shall is a present form, the past form shall is a should. Okay. And will is a present form, past form is would. Can, present form, past form is could. May, present form, might, past form, dare, need. So these are all modal verbs. So in the last year I already taught you what do you mean by verbs. All the actions are called verbs. Okay, all the actions, coming, going, sleeping, running, these are all verbs. So how many types of verbs? Main verbs, auxiliary verbs. So in main verbs, these are actions, all the actions are called main verbs. Auxiliary verbs or helping verbs means what? So the auxiliary verbs or helping verbs means it will help you to construct a sentence. I, boy. Is it a complete or correct sentence? No. I am a boy. You, student. Is it right? No. You are a student. So on the are, am. So he is a doctor, is. So these are all auxiliary verbs. The auxiliary verbs helps to construct a sentence. The auxiliary verbs helps to construct a sentence. So here these are also auxiliary verbs, but they are called as modal verbs. So modal verbs also kind of auxiliary verbs only. Okay, so this action is different from auxiliary verbs. Okay. So in what are the way we are using the modal verbs? We are going to see now. So modal phrases means, so I already told you phrases means a group of words. Ought to, used to, you ought to do this. When I was 5 years old, I used to play every day. So ought to, used to. So along with that word to will come. So that is a modal phrases. So let's come to that. Modal verbs. First one, impossible condition, impossibility condition. See this first sentence, impossibility condition in modal verbs. Let's take the modal verb can, okay. So that can be true, that can be true, okay, that can be true. Yes sir, that can be true. There is a possibility that can be true. What I saw, that is true, that can be true. So it is a possibility situation. So second one, that can't be true. So that can be true. That can't be true means, so here positive here negative, can't, because of not. Can't means apostrophe T, not. That can't be true. So it is impossibility. So possibility that can be true. Impossibility is that can't be true. So that is the slight difference between can be and can't be. Can be means a possibility, positive situation. Can't be means a negative, impossibility situation. Understood, my dear children? So let's move to that probability. First one is impossibility. So next move to the probability. Probability means I already told you. So here sureness. Something is surely going to happen. Okay, that is called probability. Sureness. In that probability condition, that action is going to happen with one reason. There is a reason because of that action is going to happen. So that the event is going to happen. So here probability, that is called probability. Probability means with reason something is going to happen. Okay. So it is getting dark, it must be quite late. Quite is a surely you have to do something. Something is going to happen. Must. Something is going to happen very surely. That in that kind of places only we are using must. Okay. So look at this sentence. What is the reason here? So it's getting dark is a reason. So what is the consequence? Because of the reason, what is going to happen? It must be quite late. Okay, it must be quite late. So because it's getting dark. During that you are talking with your friend, so you just saying your friend, it's getting dark, so it might be quite late. So because of this reason, what you are saying, it must be quite late. So I just go to my home. My parents they will searching. So you are talking with your friend in his home. So keep on talking. So that time it's getting dark. So what you will say? So it's getting dark. It must be quite late. So I'll go to my home. I just move to my home. So that is that. So second one, you haven't eaten all day. So you must be hungry. So what is the reason here? You haven't eaten all day. All day he is not eating anything. So that is the reason. So what is the consequence? You must be hungry. Definitely you must be hungry. So why? What is the reason? You haven't eaten all day. Okay, wow. So that's what come. In probability situation, one reason will come. Then because of this reason, one consequence will come. Okay, wow. In this reason, what will happen? Because of this reason, something will happen. So you haven't eaten all day. That is the reason. So what will happen? You must be hungry. Definitely you will be hungry. So that's what. So probability is over, sureness. Next one, permission. Permission. So often we are using this. Can I ask a question please? Can I ask a question please? So my dear children, you can, when you want to ask permission, you can use this modal auxiliary, can. So, but this is not a formal way of asking. Okay, wow. Can I ask a question please? That is okay, but that is not a formal way. Which one is formal way? So, could I ask a question please? So, instead of can, if you use could, that is formal way. This is informal way. It is not wrong. It is also right, but it is not a formal way. Can I ask a question please? So, permission. Modal auxiliary, can is used here. Can we go home now? So, this also, okay, question is right, but it is a informal. So, then what is a formal, sir? Could I ask a question? So, the could. Instead of can, if you use could means that is formal way of asking permission. Understood? Formal way of asking. Could I ask a question please? Could I ask a question please? Could we go home now? So, asking, put the question mark. So, these two are formal way. Okay, these two are informal way, but we can use, no problem. So, next we move to that instructions and requests. So, instruction and request, how the can is used, that auxiliary verb, the modal verb can is used. Could you and would you are polite way of asking question. I already told you could and would. So, If you used could and would are more polite way of asking permission or request. For example, can I use your pen? I already told you. Can I use your pen is informal. So could you explain this sum again? So see the difference. Can I use your pen is an informal way. So here you can use could I use your pen? Could I use your pen? Instead of can, you can use could I use your pen? So could is a more respect than can. So more polite way. So could I use your pen? Okay, so you're asking somebody in a more polite way. That is called could. Instead of can, you can use could. More polite way. Okay, could you explain the sum again, sir? So when you talk with your teacher, so the teacher is teaching sum on sum, so you are not able to understand clearly. So how you are asking your teacher? So, can you explain the sum again, sir? Instead of can you explain the sum again, sir, you can use could you explain the sum again, sir? So that is a more polite way. So your elders, your superiors, okay, you can use could only instead of can. Your friends, your companions, you can use can. Can I use your pencil boy? Can I use your pen boy? So could is your elders or your superiors, your teachers. So it is must you have to use. Okay. Could you explain the sum again, sir? Next. So once again, I can't run. So I can't run. Sometimes we say I can't run. So can't, what does that can't mean here? Here apostrophe, can apostrophe T. So here not is hidden. Can't means not. Not is hidden. So it is a short form. I can't run. So spoken, when we are in a spoken, we can use this can't. I can't run properly, sir. I can't run properly in that competition. So that's what they are given. I can't run. It is spoken form. So when you want to write a written form, you should not write can't run. So you have to write cannot. You have to write the full form. Okay, that's what given. I cannot run. That is the written form. Okay, next one. I couldn't run. So can is a present form. Can is a present. I can't run, sir. I can't run today's competition. So couldn't means I already told you. Can past form is a could. So couldn't run when I was 3 years. So when I was 3 years, I couldn't run properly. So past form of can is could. So spoken form you have to write apostrophe T, but written form you have to write full form could not. I could not run. Okay, so that's what. So nothing. This was given in your book. So there is a one auxiliary. So only one model auxiliary in its uses. So the can, they are taken only that can. So how, in what are the way the can is using? Okay, in the possible, impossibility situation and probability situation. So the permission and instruction and request. So that one auxiliary verb, model auxiliary can, in what are the ways, what are the different ways it is used, that's what given. So besides in your book, so page number 139, okay, so model, can, the model auxiliaries are given and the meaning is given and the example. For example, can, to express ability. So I can speak little Russian. So I can speak little Russian means it shows my ability. I can speak. The same can is used for request, permission also. I already told you. Here can is used for permission. There can is used for request. Same model auxiliary but used in different forms. Okay, that's what. So can, to request a permission. Can I open the window? Here can is used for permission. Second one, may. May is express a possibility. So may is used to express a possibility. I may be home late. I may be home late. It's express possibility. So I may be at home, I may be at home today, I may be at home tomorrow. Okay, there is a possibility. So the next sentence, may is used for permission also. For example, may I sit down please? May I sit down please? The first sentence, may, is express possibility. I may at home tomorrow. The second sentence, the same modal auxiliary may. Here is action is different. May I sit down please? Here it is used to express the permission. Okay. Next one, must. Must we have seen here. Must means sureness. So to express obligation, I must go now. Sir, I must go now. So you are asking someone, I must go now, leave me, I must go now. So I have an important meeting, I must go now. So it's used for obligation. And the second, same modal auxiliary must to express strong belief. She must be over 90 years old, strong belief. So your grandmother, you are saying some your grandmother about your grandmother to somebody, she must be over 90 years old. Okay, some belief. Okay, in that situation also must is using. Next one, should. Should to give advice. So that modal auxiliary should we are using to give advice. You should stop smoking. Okay, you should stop smoking. Here that the modal auxiliary should is used for advice, express the advice. Second, would, to request or offer. To request or offer. For example, would you like a cup of tea? So if you go to your friend's home, so they are giving some offer to you. Would you like a cup of tea or juice? So would you like a cup of tea? They are giving some offer. Okay, would you like a cup of tea or coffee? Would you like a tea or coffee? Would you like a juice or a tea? In the situations of giving offer, we are using a would. So then another way of expressing in sentence, if sentences, would is used for if sentences. If I were you, I would say sorry. If I were in that situation, you didn't ask sorry, but if I were you in that situation, I would ask sorry. So here would is used for if clause sentences. Okay, so my dear children, that modal auxiliaries, we cannot say can is used only for in that asking request, can is used for only for that ability. So the same auxiliary will used in many expressions. Okay, same auxiliary verb will use for different expressions. So keep it in mind. Next, so this is the modal auxiliaries. If you want to know more, so you just go through that net. So modal auxiliaries and the uses of modal auxiliaries. You come to know more about these modal auxiliaries. Okay. So once again, shall, should, will, would, can, could, may, might, dare, need. These are all modal auxiliaries, and the modal phrases are ought to, used to. Nothing but along with that modal auxiliary, to is coming. That is called modal phrases. Okay. So if you want to learn more about modal auxiliaries, you just go to that net. Okay, just go to the net to type modal auxiliaries and its uses. So you come to know many things about these modal auxiliaries. Okay. Yes. So next we move to that prepositions. Okay. Yeah. I hope all of you know very well about prepositions. Prepositions. So it is a very relevant topic from your lower classes itself. You are studying this topic. So hope it will be more understandable to you. But it is a very easiest topic also. Prepositions. Okay. Prepositions. Is there any idea what are the prepositions we are using? So prepositions are short words that usually stand in front of nouns. Usually the prepositions are short words. So what are they? In, on, under, between, at. So these are the prepositions. With. So always it stands before the noun. Sometimes it comes along with the gerund. Okay, always it's placed before the noun. If you split the word preposition, preposition, pre means before, position means it stand. Okay, it stand before the nouns always. Sometimes it comes along with the gerund. Gerund I already taught you, ing form. It is a verb, but it plays its role as a noun in the sentence. Okay, so that's what. Now come to the preposition. Some common prepositions we are going to see. Some common prepositions. What are they? Some common prepositions we have: in, on, at, to, with, during, before, and after. So these are some common prepositions we are using. So in our syllabus, so what is given? Prepositions of time. Okay, in prepositions we have a lot of varieties: preposition of time, preposition of place, preposition of degree. So okay, so a lot of various types are there. So in your book, in your textbook, we have only prepositions of time. Okay, that's what we are going to see in this chapter. Prepositions of time. Prepositions of time. Okay, so first one, see the example. I was born on July. I was born on July 4th. Born on July 4th, 1982. Okay, my dear children, can you find out what is preposition here? See, these are prepositions. Where is the preposition take place? Yeah, on. On is the what kind of preposition? So preposition of time. Why? Because this sentence talks about the time, at what time he was born. So this is the preposition of time. So in the preposition of time, when we used on, when we in the sentence tells about the particular date, this is a preposition of time. In that preposition of time, when we used on, the sentences talks about the particular date. That time we are using that preposition on. So here we are we are talking about the July 4th, the particular date. So the particular date is given in that sentence means we are using the preposition on. Okay, understood? So here we are talking about a date. So the preposition on is used, exact date. So we use the preposition on. Let's see the second sentence. I was born in 1982. I was born in 1982. This also preposition of time only, but depends upon the situation. We are changing the preposition. Here, what is the preposition? In. Why I put preposition in here? So what is the reason? Because in this sentence, I am talking about the particular year. So when we talk about the particular year, we have to use preposition in. Understood? So here we are talking about year. Particular year. So I am using the preposition in. Keep it in mind. Okay. Next preposition we are going to see at. So all these are prepositions of time only. Year also time, month also time, or a date, that also time. But which preposition used, what place? That's what we are going to see. what we used where. Okay, that is. So third one, I was born at exactly 2 a.m. I was born at exactly 2 a.m. Here, exact time. My dear children, see that same sentence, but the different prepositions based on the time. So, when we talk about the year, we are using the preposition in. When we talk about the date, we are using the preposition on. When we talk about the exact time, okay, what is the preposition we are using? At. Understood? Next. So next, same sentence, different another preposition. Okay, I was born 2 minutes. I was born 2 minutes. I was born 2 minutes before my twin brother. So here, what is the preposition we are used here? Before and after. Okay, you understood very well this sentence. I was born 2 minutes before my twin brother. Okay, you are a twins. Imagine you are a twins. So twins children are going to born means first one child will born 5 minutes or 2 minutes before, then another child will born. Okay, so that's what. I was born 2 minutes before my twin brother. Okay, that's what given here. Before and after. That also preposition. Next, after. Same sentence. I was born 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Already we used before. After. Here, 2 minutes after my twin brother. Here we are using after. So before and after also prepositions. So next one, I was born 2 minutes after my twin brother. Okay, yeah. Next one, I first met John. Met John in 1987. So what is the preposition here? In. Here after preposition, here before prepositions. So why I put that preposition in? Yeah, you are right. So here I am talking about the year. So I put the preposition in. Next, it's always cold in January. It's always cold in January. So when we talk about the month, particular month, the preposition we are using is in. When we talk about the years also, in. When we talk about the exact particular month also, we are using the preposition in. Next, Easter. You know that Easter, Christians festival. Okay, it will come in the month of April or March, April month it will come. So Easter falls in spring. Easter falls in spring. Here we are talking about a season. Okay. See, my dear children, same preposition it is used when we talk about exact year in. The same preposition it is used when we talk about that particular month in. That same preposition is used to when we talk about some particular season. Spring. Spring is a season. So that the same particular same preposition used in different situations. Year, month, and season. So that's what. So next one. The second World War occurred in the 20th century. So Second World War occurred in the 20th century. So when we talk about that century, that also we are using that same preposition in, and we eat breakfast in the morning. So in this type of sentences we will have confusion. What we have to put? We eat breakfast on the morning or in the morning. Which one is right? In the morning. When we talk about that in the morning, in the evening, also we can use the preposition in. Okay, keep it in mind. Don't forget this. So same preposition in different situation it is using. So my dear children, so this prepositions is over. So just go through. Is already some exercises are given in your book. So if you want to learn no more, just go and type in that net. You will come to know many information regarding this preposition. Next topic we are going to see that degrees of comparison. So I already degrees of comparison we have seen that. So how it is changing. So how the adjectives are changing in that degrees of comparison. So this is the continuation of the second unit. It is not given in the third unit. So what we saw that modal verbs and prepositions are given in the third unit. The degrees of comparison interchanging is the continuation of the second unit. Okay. Let's going to see that. So I already teach you the different forms of how the adjectives are changing in a positive, comparative and superlative. So today we are going to see how that adjectives, how we are interchanging the sentences, by using the adjectives. That's what we are going to see today. Degrees of comparison. Okay, compare two things. So interchanging sentences. Interchanging sentences. So in your, this is the continuation of second unit. Continuation of second unit. Don't be confused. It is not given in the third unit. It is a continuation of second unit. Okay. So in your textbook, some of the exercises are given. Okay. See that. Which is faster? Which is faster? Which is faster? A train or a plane? A train or a plane? So, which is faster, a train or a plane? Plane. So, obviously plane is faster than a train. So, that's what we are going to see then. So, given sentences, so two things are given, we are going to compare. Okay, wow. See that. Plane, when two things are given in the degrees of comparison, we have to compare. Okay, wow. So, plane is faster. So I already told you in comparative we are using that word ER, faster. So what is the additional word? Than. Plane is faster than train. Understood? Plane is faster than train. It is a comparative. Next one. Which is cheaper? Which is cheaper? Gold or silver? Gold or silver? Which is cheaper? Gold or silver? Which is cheaper? Silver is cheaper. So how we are compare silver with gold? See that silver is cheaper than. When we compare this this silver with the gold, we have to write like this. So this is a comparison sentence. Okay, wow. So silver is cheaper than gold. This is the comparative form. Okay, wow. So when two things are given, if they ask change it into comparative form, means you have to add er then than along with the than, er than. So that is a comparative form. That sentence will be changed into comparative form. If two things are given, if they ask you to compare these two things in a sentence, means you have to write like this. This is a comparative form of sentence. Okay. So next. So in your book, more examples are given. I just take a few. So remaining and all, you just work out. Okay. Third one. Which is bigger? Which is bigger? Which is bigger, a sea or ocean? A sea or an ocean? An ocean. A sea or an ocean. So you know very obviously which is deeper? Sea. So how will we compare these two things with the comparative sentence? Okay, so an ocean is bigger than. Ocean is bigger than. Ocean is bigger than a sea. Ocean is bigger than sea. Understood, my dear children? So ocean is bigger than, so an ocean is bigger than sea. So if they give two things, if they ask you to compare these two things, means you have to write the comparative form. So in the comparative form, what we have to do? Er plus than. Okay, wow. That is the formula. So if they give three things, so that also given in your book, three things. So what we have to do? Two things means we have to compare like this. Suppose if they give three things, what we have to do? So that's what we are going to see. Okay, see this, let's compare three things. Let's compare three things. For example, town, city, village. Town, city, village. Okay, so the adjective is given is quiet. Q-U-I-E-T. Given adjective is quiet. Okay, so quiet means silence. So which one is silence? Three things are given. So we have to give a comparative form. So first one, village. Village is quiet. Village is quiet place. Okay, so positive. Comparative. Village is quite. Comparative means what we have to do? Here we have to add the previous one we had did. Quieter. Village is quieter than a town. Village is quieter than a town. So once again we can't take city. City is not a quiet place. So let's take a village and town. So what is the superlative? Village is the quietest place. Village is the quietest place. So village is the quietest place. Do you understand? Have you all understand? So village is a quiet place, positive. This is a positive form. Positive. So the second sentence, I just compare village with the town. It's a comparative form. C. Comparative form. Superlative form. village is the quietest place. I already told you when we see that degrees of comparison, changing the adjectives, superlative we have to add est and plus the. Okay, the plus est. So village is the quietest place. This is a superlative. Yes. Understood, dear children? So positive form, comparative form and superlative form. Another only one example you are going to see in this. So remaining you just see in your book itself. You try your level best. The same order, second sentence, second example, when we give the three things, how we can change a positive, comparative and superlative. See this. Istanbul, Moscow, London. Moscow, London. The given adjective is in the bracket populated. Okay, so that is the given adjective. So first we have to change into positive. So positive, populated, three places. These three places are cities. Okay, or popular cities. So which is a positive city? First one. Okay, wow. Istanbul is a populated city. Populated city. This is positive. Okay, positive form. So next to Istanbul city, which is a little more popular than Istanbul, so comparative. Okay, wow. So Moscow is more populated than Istanbul. My dear children, see this comparative. So how the sentence is changing? First sentence, Istanbul is a populated city, positive way. Second, I just compare Istanbul with Moscow. So Moscow is more populated than Istanbul city. Okay, here Moscow is more populated. What is the why I put more here? So I already told you once again. Remember, recall. So that previous class. So when there is more than 2 syllables, we are using comparative, more and superlative, most. Okay, so populated is more than 2 syllables. So we are using more populated and most populated. Superlative, what will come? London is most populated. London is most populated city. Here this is superlative. So I already told you comparative, when there is a comparative, more, superlative, most. Okay, so this is what, children. So you just go through. If you have any doubts, you can call and you can work out a lot. Okay, so let's meet the next class. Till then, it is your English teacher signing off.